New York City, so I thought nobody ever will see it anyway, because this is something I'm doing in Long Island, but then all I need to do is myself. But, so then I thought, okay, I make this self-portrait, and
pour moi, si on devait résumer en un mot cet espace-ci, c'est vraiment peut-être l'espace des paradis perdus, de retrouver une nature unifiée dans laquelle tous les êtres vivants, petits et grands, importants, peu importants, sont en harmonie, sont en lien dans une grande nature totalement unifiée. Alors vous allez voir que de pièce en pièce, vraiment il y a chaque fois ce glissement, ce basculement. Ici on est dans le corps, ces autoportraits, le corps morcelé, le corps chaotique, le corps intérieur. Et puis nous allons passer vers une nature plus unifiée.
you know, I always think I was very young when I was doing this, but here I was already 43. You know, so I'm Capricorn, we're late bloomers. So, you know, I started making work when I was 24 or something, but I didn't really exhibit till I was at least, I didn't have like a solo one-person show till I was 34, but I didn't sort of start turning into a person at all too much till I was about in my mid-40s or something. So everybody has their own trajectory.
Yeah.
In your work and what you just say, it feels like a little bit like a shamanic experience. How do you feel about that?
I think if I'm having a shamanic experience, if the world is in trouble, but I think shamans are, you know, much closer to this intersection, you know, or in the intersection, and you know, I'm like I would say I'm from New Jersey. I'm like
fringe.
Yeah, I'm on the fringe looking in, but it's something that I pay attention to, and I certainly, you know, pay attention in my own personal way to these intersections where we get to see beyond our self, you know, or our community. You know, when we get to see beyond into some of the other energies that are happening everywhere, you know, I mean, even just like the cosmic rays are bombarding, going through us every single day, all day long, you know, and then you don't think about that you and the building and everything has these cosmic rays coming down, you know, but there are all of these energies everywhere going everywhere. I mean, even just our cell phone ray, you know, these kind of energies are also, you know, poisoning us and everything else, and, you know, in our addiction to them, which I am also, but you know, there are all of these unseen things happening. You know, there's social unseen things happening, but there's a lot of really physical unseen things happening all the time that sometimes you can glimpse into, you know, you can see beyond the veil, but, you know, for the most part, they're just, you know, battering you around.
And you put them in your drawings.
I don't know, some things. Yeah. Some things.
What's that comment?
Yeah, some things. Some things.
Je pense que c'est
That's all I
une
know.
des caractéristiques de la ville, Kiki.
Can you explain me this?
No.
No, it's difficult.
I don't think I can, because I don't really remember why I made it. I don't know why I made it. I just had it in my head to make it. And I mean, that's the problem, is that you just forget why you, like some things you remember, you tell yourself a story why you made it, but sometimes you just forget why you made it. You just made it because this was the moment to make those things. And part of it was to make something that couldn't really stand up. And I made also another version where there's a rainbow in front of her, made in porcelain. But I'm sorry to say, I forget why I make things.
Elle parle beaucoup de corps dans son travail. Est-ce que l'expérience de la pesanteur, elle l'a vécue personnellement en travaillant?
La pesanteur.
La pesanteur.
Donc, you're talking a lot about the body in your work. And did you yourself this experience of non-gravity?
Non-gravity?
Yeah.
I made a sculpture called Lilith. That was Lilith, is the first wife of Adam, and Lilith disembodies, and then is disembodied, can move everywhere. And I made sort of by accident, I made a sculpture of Lilith, and it was also at a time I was working with dancers. And I thought figuration historically is practically always engaged in being in relationship to gravitational forces. And whereas dancers, one of the appeal of dancers is they're flying around. I've been in shock. I was in a car accident once, and I've been in shock where you're going out of your body. So in that sense, I was not in gravity. I was outside, but no, I feel the gravity a lot. I already shrunk. I shrunk that much, 2 inches, and I never thought I would shrink. I thought, oh, that will happen to other people, and gravity is weighing on me just as much as most people. But
Le rapport au masque.
Et le rapport au masque.
What is your relationship, attitude to the mask?
to masks, I was very influenced by a theater group by Peter Schumann called Bread and Puppet Theater, where they made very large masks and small masks and in theater use. I mean, they're really geniuses, all of them. To my mind, they made very political theater or social theater, but very magical also. And they are a big root for my work, or a big influence on myself as a younger person. But I'm interested in masks, and facade.
Mais est-ce que le masque n'est pas justement la vraie personne plutôt que la façade?
Can we say that a mask can be regarded as a true person, not just a facade?
Yeah, it can be. It can be for sure. I mean, and it is actively, people, it's actively embodying spirits of, different things around the world. But I also come from my family. My father made death mask of his mother when she died, and it was the first thing you saw when you went into the house, and so then when my father died, I made death mask, and then my sister died and I made death mask and their hands, but then my mother, I cast her live and I didn't make a death mask. And my sister, I won't make one, and I don't think I will have one made when I'm dead. But, so there's also, that's big part of history also, is people making death masks too. In a literal sense. And casting bodies is making this mask in a larger sense, making this mask. But certainly all over the world, the mask is something very much alive. But it's also a protection.
La troisième question, j'ai oublié, c'est sur
L'expérience du corps.
l'expérience du corps, elle en a parlé. Hein.
Oui, l'expérience du corps, de la peau. Oui, on en a parlé.
Qu'est-ce qu'elle pense de la situation, c'est une féministe, de la situation actuelle au niveau du combat des femmes en Amérique contre le
What is your position? What are your ideas concerning the actual situation, feminist situation in the United States?
Feminism is something that evolves and changes, and often is contradictory within itself, but it's something where people are trying, it's human rights issues, and people are trying to bring that in a more and more sophisticated manner. And, I think people get to, with all movements in society, people get to a threshold, and then they just say, this doesn't work for us en masse, and then things change. People try to deconstruct or understand or just crash into. And sometimes it's done in ways that you wouldn't say so polite or very thoughtful, but sometimes that's the way it has to be. It's the only way people make mistakes in it. It doesn't. Sometimes it's more important to change than it is to be graceful doing it, but I think just there are moments where things change, and now in the United States we're in a moment where people are saying they don't want things a certain way anymore, and so that's and at the same time there's tremendous contraction and reaction in the society, and these things are always, I think everywhere these things are always trying to find some balance that gives the most people hope and a sense of possibility for their lives. I mean, it's just like every other issue, which are all the same issues, they're human rights issues, but it's very complex. It's it's very simple, like you say, okay, everyone should have human rights, but then how that plays out is very complex in each society, and each society has its own unique history and its own unique future, or maybe none of us have any futures, who knows, but it's a complicated thing that I think people individually in their lives try to make their lives, for me, I always think I'm trying to make my life better. That's what I'm trying to do in my work. But and then collectively those things people find like-mindedness. But it can be in complete contradiction to other people's ideas of things too. So it's always a dance.
Mm-hmm. The last question.
Could you tell a little bit more about this woman downstairs? She's nude. She has branches in arms, like this. And she's a tree, and in the same time she is just elevated with no gravity.
No, the thing is that most things you do, it comes out of specific situations. I was at an summer art school, and the young people there was one girl naked, and the other people were drawing, and they're making drawings like this big. And, I thought like if you're going to waste your time doing something, be ambitious, that it's not just don't make art school and things just exercises. So I made a big drawing, and then I made this print out of it, and the print was, I made one of her head also, smaller, but it was a print that was lithography, and then it was watercolor, but then the branches were monoprints taken from the outside, inking up the leaves and pressing them down.
Donc en fait, tu prends directement.
Oh, yes, but it's a divinity.
It's what?
C'est une divinité, en fait.
On peut y trouver ce qu'on veut,
Maybe.
mais souvent...
I don't think about it. I just go
elle n'est jamais affirmative.
I just go I just wanted the students I just wanted to give them a lesson, take what you do seriously and make it, turn it into something that you stand by. And I don't think about what I'm doing so much. I just say, like these ones, drawings with the eyes going out is about, part is about vision, having visions, but also, your eyes are just moving and wandering and you're looking out, sight is active, sight is active. And it fits to certain things in my life like that, but I don't think about it. In a way, I don't think about it that much. I just get it in my head to do something, and I just do it. And then at a certain point I say it's done, and then I go wait or clean the house or do something else that I think needs to get done. But it's only sometimes in retrospect I can make these sort of linear narratives, but in the
It's the power of the unconscious.
it's not even intent. It's just like a reaction, like just.
I mean, inconscious.
Yeah, unconscious. Yes, my unconscious is taking care of me. I'm relying heavily on my unconscious to take care of me, because I'm a very very plain pragmatic. I'm like just pragmatic for the most part, and very plain person. In my daily life, I care like to get some new sheets for the bed or to do the laundry or, very plain things.
Mais if I can say just a little thing, donc à la fois très pragmatique, elle aime beaucoup être dans le faire, mais aussi intuitive, non?
You're very pragmatic and intuitive.
Yeah.
Les deux à
À
la
votre
fois.
avis, votre intuition, la Lune, maintenant, aujourd'hui, elle est montante ou descendante?
Well,
For the moon,
now?
the moon now.
intuition arising or
I don't know where the moon is.
I
It's
don't know,
been
what's
gray
your
sky.
intuition? What is it?
Oh, I don't know. I don't have intuition. Things like that. I'm not that clever. I don't have anything like that.
You have a lot of tattoos. Is that because you want to try a body print after a paper print? Or?
Because I wanted to protect myself. So I got them to protect me when I went out in the world. And it worked. So,
On peut lui dire la réponse. La Lune est montante.
Elle est montante.
La Lune est montante.
it's going
Tu as
up.
vu
It's
ce
going
qu'elle
up.
dit? Je suis la chair de la pleine lune.
It's going up.
Et sa maison d'édition, c'est 13 Moons.
If I'm
13e
home,
lune.
I might know. But here, it's just gray skies all the time. In England, gray skies all the time. San Gimignano, it was nice. No, it was a while ago, the full moon.